This is the Serengeti as never seen before. Viewed through the eyes of East African guides Richard Knocker and Jombi, award-winning wildlife photographer Paul Joynson-Hicks and inspirational filmmaker Eliza. For the first time in decades, this extraordinary wilderness stands almost empty, a unique but bittersweet time to be here. Over 8 days, they'll be bringing you a rare glimpse of the Serengeti and all its inhabitants in a visual diary. We hope this encourages you on your own Serengeti safari, so together we can continue to conserve this precious wilderness.
An amazing start to the morning, Ricardo.
Yeah.
Sunrise, wildebeest running, dust. It's intense.
Lost it.
And you've lost
Focus.
Oh, find it again.
I'm trying to. It hates these conditions. And it's so pretty. This is what I really want. Ah!
So Ricardo, we've got the coffee making kit out there. Just tell me, what is Knocker's law of coffee making at river crossings?
We're about to demonstrate it to you fully, actually. It's not only river crossings, it's whenever there's something that's sort of not quite happening, about to happen, might happen. If you want to push it over the edge and guarantee that it really will happen, then what you do is you get out your coffee kit, make the coffee, and just as it's fully brewed, bam!
It'll happen.
Where you go.
Okay, well, let's see if it works.
Oh, it will.
We are at the rocks known as koppies. Koppies means in the Afrikaans name for little head that stick up. But these are the intrusive igneous rocks. In the morning you see the lights hit on the rock and it looks so beautiful, so colorful. But what we see is actually, it's a lichen. This is the yellow lichen. But what happened is the lichen is live and they are slowly secreting the chemical. That the chemical is what actually eventually break the rocks. So you have a yellow lichen and you can see a little bit of small silvery gray lichen as well. They both secrete a chemical slowly that eventually will break these rocks.
This is quite weird. We found a bunch of lions, males and females, and they're all looking down into the river. And we think that there might be a fight. There maybe is another lion down there or something.
There was that report of a fight here earlier on, wasn't there?
Yeah, there was. Yeah. They're sitting on the riverbank, and it's really interesting. They're all staring down into the river almost, but we think maybe there's another lion or something that's trapped down where we can't see it. Oh, it's really exciting. And also seeing lions perched on the edge of a river is really beautiful.
So a colleague of ours, Ian, has just told us that a little bit along from where we were looking at those lions, there are a couple of leopards up a tree. So now we're completely torn. What do we do now? So that's the coffee law.
That's the coffee law.
It didn't work the way we expected it to be, but it worked.
So we found a hyena den that we are looking for. We probably have spent nearly an hour and 15 minutes looking for this den. And it's so hard because there's so many mounds around. How you can tell is if you look at the mound, it has an entrance which is really worn out. And then if you look around, there's a lot of pieces of bones that hyenas have brought it to their dens. You know, every individual normally come back to the den, you know, with a sort of a present, a piece of a bone, a leg, a jaw, you know, a horn. Nobody's at home right now. Probably the puppies are inside the den. And because there's no mother outside, they will stay until the mother will come back. So what I think is we'll probably come back later and see what we can find. What you see is the border between Kenya and Tanzania, this is the Masai Mara up here, which the wildebeest will cross to this other side of the Serengeti and then into the Mara. And this is the Mara River, the famous Mara River, which flows toward Lake Victoria. We have been driving up and down, but mainly most of the crossing we have been watching here at number 4. You see where the river bend. This is where we have been more likely witnessing the crossings.
Did you see that? That was amazing. She just twitched her ear. It was incredible.
They're so beautiful. They're so gorgeous. But you know, once you got over the beauty, they're about as exciting as paint drying.
I was not expecting that, to be honest. I thought she was going to be in that tree for the rest of the day.
She looked as if she'd settled in. But it's fascinating the way we saw her get up and that kind of snarling. It almost looked like she could see the other leopard we know was there, or another, and was reacting to that. It was almost a fear, kind of a fear thing, fear grimace.
Fear grimace? Maybe.
But to be honest, I don't know.
So she got out of her tree. She's gone along this korongo.
Yeah.
So we don't quite know whether she's hunting or what she's doing.
Looks like hunting, David, the way she's going from cover to cover.
Yeah.
And suddenly getting closer, using the korongo to edge closer to the wildebeest. We left her in a bush, went to check out their migration stuff. And when we got back, we found the reason she'd gone into that bush was because she'd stashed a kill there.
So we're still here with our lady leopard, and she's up in a tree, and so it's quite tricky photographing her depending on the position, because quite often if you've got something up in a tree, it's in a little bit of shade and there's sunlight, there's sky behind it. Now that sky is going to tell your camera that it's really bright, but actually your leopard is in the shade. It's not really bright. So what you have to do is you have to use a little bit of exposure compensation and overexpose the image a little bit. So I usually start at 0.7 of a stop. So that's 2/3 of a stop plus in your exposure compensation if you're using an automatic exposure mode, like I do, aperture priority. For example, if you're shooting in manual, then just go up to 2/3 of a stop, overexpose in your exposure meter. So that is top tip, shooting something in a tree. I'm getting a very funny look by Ricardo. I wonder what that means. Probably because he doesn't understand what I'm talking about, but never mind. Anyway, so overexpose by 2/3 of a stop for something in a tree.